masculinity and toxic femininity is how it also translates into people's hatred for traditional people who for being traditional with their gender roles and things like that.
You gonna get us canceled?
Well, no. Because all I wanted, this is what I want to say.
I can't say.
I grew up in a 2-parent household. My mom and my stepdad. My dad was still
Lucky
very
you.
much. So why do I get the hate when I say it?
Brenda said the same thing 5 minutes ago.
Like what? Anyway,
Man, wait.
my father was very much in my life, but I lived with my mom and my stepdad, and their 3 kids or whatever. And so, it was a very traditional household growing up in the beginning. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My stepdad worked. He provided. It was quiet time when he was asleep, and, he played with us when he had the time. But for the main part, we really didn't see him much because he worked. And, he was very, he didn't coddle my brothers. He was just very much he was really into his role as a man. And that's how he was with my brothers. And my mom was very traditional. She made sure that me and my sister knew how to cook. We had to wash dishes. My brothers never had to wash a dish a day in their life as long as I was living there, because boys don't wash dishes. They take out the trash. You know what I mean?
I love that nigga.
Stuff like that. And so 2020, people will look at that and be like, oh, well, that's toxic. Everybody should be doing everything and blah, 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 and XYZ. And it's just, to me, I don't think that that's toxic. That's just acting within your normal gender role. I don't think there's anything wrong with acting outside of it, but it seems like we're moving towards an area where people act like it's a problem to act within it.
I like that you said that because I had this argument with somebody else about raising kids, and they're super about like not having gender roles. But my thing was, where the fuck do you start when you raise them? Like, I get like at some point you could be non-binary or you can be trans or you can feel a certain way. But from birth to 4 or 5, when they start figuring this out, you have to find a lane. So you can't just like not have a outline of how you're gonna raise your child because you're scared to put them in a box of gender roles.
Right.
Because there's also the flip side of that where you have no barriers, and then
they have no identity.
They have no identity.
Like,
and like there's been those horror stories where you have people who who've transitioned over from one sex to other and then hate it, and then they're trapped because they you can't transition back. Nope. So you're stuck on that side of the gate now, and you hate it more than you hated it before. And that's becoming a really big issue. Yeah,
because a lot of people are allowing kids to make permanent decisions about themselves.
It's like people don't understand that you need hard and soft to create a beautiful like stone sculpture. Like it's a thing in nature and it's a thing in human beings, and it's like when people who want to pick that lane, it's like people judge the people for doing that and look at them as staying a part of the norm and not thinking outside of the box and following along with the programming. And it's like, no, dude, like I'm not the most emotional person, but I like I don't.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I love it.
Did you have to take the philosophical hard and the soft? Man? You need to make a sculpture. You don't talk like that, Suchi.
I love it.
What you say?
You don't talk like that. The hard and the
hey,
soft.
Man, I'm reaching in my bag today.
To make a stone sculpture. What is the hard and what is the soft in that
the bag.
Well,
don't reach in that bag ever again.
The hard would be the chisel. The soft would be the wet stone.
No.
Okay,
Stop
no.
answering.
Anyway. So what you're saying?
Closing statements.
Anyway, when it comes to the toxic, and children and raising kids and things like that, I think people are just becoming very extreme with it. Their little boy can decide that he wants to dance and it's automatically, make him a ballerina. Let's do this. We gonna change everything in this room to pink and purple, and we gonna just roll with it instead of just letting the boy dance.
And I have
allowing him to have other options, like we said in the beginning. It becomes toxic when you remove their options to do other things. It's okay for him to want to be a dancer, but you don't have to limit him now all of a sudden to only push him in the direction of feminine, quote unquote, feminine things.
And I'm going to say a statement. I've been debating on saying a statement. And I feel like I may get canceled in some form, but as a heterosexual male, I want my children to be heterosexual. That is my preference. Does that mean that I'm going to go out to harm or hate anybody of any other sexuality? Absolutely not. But I think to say that publicly, I automatically would be labeled homophobic, not letting my children grow or experience, like I'm automatically putting them in the box for that. And one of the things I kind of, and here we go, I shouldn't even use this comedian, but Kevin Hart, one of his earlier comedian specials is that he talked about not wanting his son to be a homosexual male. And then there's some time where he talked about, bashing his head over
with the dollhouse,
which I understand. I'm completely against any type of violence to the LGBTQ community, but I don't think there's wrong with a preference in how you would like to raise your child.
Well, and then to say that, if I'm not mad at you, or if I don't have a issue, or I don't feel a type of way about how you are being so open, why is me wanting to be more so on a different path? Why is that problematic? I'm not saying that. Look. I'm not saying that anything is right or wrong. That's not my place. What I'm saying is, if I decide to raise my child a certain way, my child being the key word, a certain way, I don't understand what the issue is with that, as long as I'm not teaching them any type of hate.
Yeah.
You want to know what the issue is? The issue is when you don't agree with them, it makes their issue seem less relevant in that you're now raising Hitler.
Anyway. What baffles me about that though, because even with some what you're saying, is that you're not agreeing with me. So why? And I don't hate you. I'm not telling you.
I think the issue is I agree with you 100%. I think it's because what you don't want them to do has been treated a certain way, because that category, wanting to raise your child hetero, goes into the exact same category as everything else. I want my kid to be I want my kid to be into martial arts. I want my kid to play an instrument. I want my kid to learn to do this. These are all categories of how you plan on raising your child. Mm-hmm. It's no different. But only that, like, no one's out here beating up saxophonists and calling them, trash or something like that. You know what I mean? That's not a hated group.
Right.
So anything negative towards, and I understand, because there's a thin line, unfortunately, because of how trash people are, that disliking something is hateful.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a very thin line, because you can say that statement to someone who's a legit neo-Nazi, like, oh yeah, me too, I want to raise my kids heterosexual too, and you can guys can mean completely different things.
Yeah. I'm going to beat my child if he decides to.
So your day-to-day actions of being supportive and saying you support gay rights and everything like that, and suicide hotlines for trans kids and stuff like that. That will reflect that you are just raising your child the way you want to raise your child,
right?
And it won't have any like kind of negative connotation, because we know you're a good person,
right?
And then the other guy
is ready to shoot someone.
Exactly.
It's so crazy, because it's like, I don't be a free spirit. Raise your kid to be however you want them, because at the end of the day, you're still doing what you want to do for your kid. You're not your child isn't making that choice. You are.
Well, and I really like that, that it's the hate, disagreement and hate are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm. No.
And that's the thing, if you're raising your child a different way, disagreeing, because even like my faith doesn't believe that my faith doesn't believe in a person that is homosexual, that's a right thing in my faith. I'm not Christian, by the way, anybody listening, so don't try to throw labels on it. I'm not Christian, and I do follow everything in the Bible. So one of the things like with that is that's my belief system. So am I automatically
gonna despise or hate somebody
or hate?
Like I say, you may not personally agree with it, but that doesn't stop you from being a decent human being and respecting somebody else's decisions.
Because I'm still an ally. I teach classes about being an ally and mean everything I say about being an ally and supporting and rights and not being abusive. And I even like, I'm an instructor, even when it comes to being an ally of the LGBTQ community. So
and even moving outside of that, I think it's just really narrow minded to me to assume that, oh, you want your kid to be straight, that automatically means that, you know, I'm personally just, I hate gay people. And I don't think that's a weird correlation to me, because what if I in turn say, well, why are you mad at me for that? Why are you mad at me about having a preference when it comes to sexual orientation? You know, like, I don't get it. What's the point of having a preference then if I'm gonna get looked at a certain way because I'm not living my life the same way as you?
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I have many of friends who are like, so like different backgrounds, especially like with faith and stuff, who is into like Wicca or, you know, maybe Catholic or whatever the case is. And I would never in my life judge them or say anything to them about how they choose to believe what they believe in. I respect them, if nothing else, because I get it. I have my faith I believe in. So I just don't understand, like, when it comes to this specific thing, it gets so much like traction on you being one or the other. Like, there can't be any middle ground with it anymore.
You know why? And I think, and this, I think it's because it's easy to demonize, because it's something a lot of people don't have to do as far as like when it comes to religion. Like cursing, people still want to curse, so they're not going to demonize it. They still want to have sex outside of marriage, not going to demonize it. They do. Some people, like the extremists do, but most of them, like, you know, I still want to have sex. I'm not going to make that bad. But they're going to attack gay because they're not gay. It doesn't affect them. Right. So I can make this really bad and preach against it because it doesn't necessarily affect me. So I can demonize this and make it a martyr for the religion itself.
I can't even touch that.
You know what I mean?
I can't touch that.
I'm just saying, like, it's like, so for me, like, you know, if like, I mean, got an analogy, but I'm just saying, like, that's just, it's such an easy thing to fraud because you don't have to worry about it. Or you got the people who do have to worry about it, so they demonize it, so they stay away from it.
Right.
I mean, I can give you a good example. Go ahead. I love this example. It's like reading an instruction booklet, and you don't do all the instructions inside the booklet and yell at someone else
for not doing the
one instruction inside the book.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like, and I think
it's IKEA build a couch and you
skip step 2
2 and 4 and 7.
And I think people are like scared when they demonize, when they're worried that they have those like inklings and those feelings, because they're scared that they'll enjoy it. So like, I wake up every day 100% sure I'm not going to suck a penis. I don't do it. I don't avoid gay people. I don't like just like talking to them. I like hanging out with them because I know this is how as far as it's gonna go. Right. I am not worried about it.
Right.
I have a friend. This guy from my gym, super nice dude, gamer, like straight in Pokemon, like really cool dude, but he's gay, and he has a dark sense of humor. So for my birthday, he bought me a birthday card from Spencer's.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
So in the front, it was a firefighter, you know, and it's like firefighter fit. On the back, when he opened it, it was the back side of the firefighter, and he was like bent over. But where his butt was a NAF gift card, and the caption was, "How much do you want to eat?" So I could leave this gift card in this card and not see this man's asshole, or I could pull the card out
and see bare ass.
and see, you know, an asshole, and then get food. I obviously got the food. I'm not, you know what I mean? I mean, this asshole staring me in the eye for like 20 seconds. I giggled, closed the card, and I got some steak.
You're just like, damn.
Like, yeah. You know, you didn't be like, oh no, I'm
like, oh no, I'm gay.
They got me.
No, but
my
like,
weakness.
Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you worried about?
That's hilarious.
Let people do that. That's like literally the only difference between me and this dude. Like,
right.
he's not feminine by any means. Super nice dude. He just likes a different sexual preference. So I don't understand why people are so afraid of it. I 100% don't understand it.
I don't
either.
Anyway, to close this out, essentially the biggest thing that we need is like people need to communicate. Like, ultimately, like emotionally and everything, because communication will be the ultimate into all of this.
Proper communication.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
You're right, because we can talk, but if we're not having a proper dialogue, it's not going to get us anywhere.
at all.
Nowhere at all.
And piggybacking off of that, I think we all would like to thank Brittany because she does keep a lot of our toxic traits in check, I believe, between the group. I do think she's a catalyst of
She does.
Change.
keeping, change. Catalyst of change.
When
And
that
she's-
chest bumping
she's
in the
made
corner.
she's made us a lot better over the last 10 years, especially me and Suchi. She's still working on.
All right.
It's a lot of work, but I've become a lot better.
This is just
Look, I have a problem, right? I'm ready to set the world on fire every 5 seconds.
Which is not a good thing. Anyway, let's end this on a lighter note.
comment.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note. Music. Does anybody have any good music recommendations or anything that they've been bumping recently?
Kendrick, where are you, bro? I'm so sick
Look,
and tired of this.
He was on a feature for Busta Rhymes.